Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. We got to talk about The Bachelorette, season 18, episode 2.
Oh my
Michelle.
God, you know what season we're on?
I do. I looked it up.
Wow, Michelle's season. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/nerdtainment.
That's
Join
right.
us over there. It's
We're
fun.
Over there. Thank you for that. Hi, everybody.
Hello. If you were with us last night, you saw the great coughing fit of 2021. And I've got my cough drop in already. So
yeah, let's not have
this is a little more smooth.
A second
tonight.
one of that. Yeah. That was a lot. That was a lot of coughing.
A lot of coughing. Sorry about that.
Hang in there, David.
Yes.
He's well. He's healthy.
Okay.
He just has a lingering cough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right, you guys. This episode, I was into it.
Okay. I'm just going to say it right off the bat.
Oh boy.
We were right about Jamie.
Yeah, we were.
Okay. Because we were like, we don't get it.
We don't get it.
What?
What does she see in him?
Jamie?
Not sure.
I don't know.
Now, in this episode, we went on a journey because
did.
there was a time where I was like, uh-oh, I need to be into Jamie. And then I was like, nope.
We were right.
It
was vindication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to my gut instinct. That's right. But let's start at the top here.
Group date.
Before that, Tayshia's in bed with Michelle. And they're just kind of catching up. Just the top of the show.
Okay.
Nothing important except that I noted Tayshia called him Zachary.
Yes, right. Because she was like, Zachary came alive during the group dates, and that's where I really saw his personality.
I was like, Zachary?
Yeah, who's that?
Oh, okay. Give
Very
me a little
formal.
Zachary.
Uh-huh.
That's the only thing I took from that.
Yeah. But this group date, so, Tayshia's setting up, like, pay attention to these guys, even though it's not a one-on-one, like, this is where some of the guys shine. So,
and, the ones that are, like, loud and obnoxious, whatever, but sometimes people don't fight for attention, and sometimes we like them.
I always say, in relation to, like, friends, like, potential new friends, if someone wants to be your best friend right away, run. But if someone's like a little bit, they're like slow pedaling it, those are the kind of people where I'm like, you and I might actually get along. Like, because you're not trying so hard, So I feel like that's Tayshia's advice here. Like, focus on the guys who aren't trying so hard, because those are the genuine guys.
I mean, I think we naturally feel that way, right? Like someone who's just trying too hard for attention, like you just need the whole group to pay attention to you, is like, calm down.
Yeah.
The normal people are just like, I'm not going to be obnoxious right now.
Right.
But we're going to see in this group date how this goes. It's today's lesson is love is what they get on the card.
Right.
We've got Brandon, Romeo, Rick, PJ, Will, Olu, Casey, Daniel, LT, and Peter.
LT, he's still there.
He's there.
He is there.
He is there. We are going into Miss Young's classroom with some kids.
Not her students.
No,
okay, these are 3 actors.
Who were booked for a gig.
Right. Yeah.
And one of them, I will follow her till she becomes a star, because that little girl.
I know.
Who is she?
Yeah. The one who was like, leave her alone.
Leave her alone.
Yeah.
And she called out like all of the mistakes. I was like, yes, honey. Who are you? You're great.
Yeah.
Okay.
What we're kind of getting here, I mean, it's like they're quizzing them. They're having to like hold up answers, on their board. We're learning that Romeo is smart here, right? Like Romeo is the guy who came in speaking French, and we were a little bit like,
not into it.
We don't need that.
But you know what I am into? Math,
spelling, like basic kind of things like that.
He got me here where he was like, I know math. Right. What's up?
He went to Harvard, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Yale guys didn't really care, but
not super into that for you, Romeo, but whatever. And then Peter's being annoying, right? Like, Peter puts a heart on top of every eye. Yeah.
I'm a pizzapreneur.
He's like, look, it's a pizza slice, and the girl's like, it looks like an empty ice cream cone. Actually, yeah, the shade. And he also, like, when they move on to the science test, he's trying to get, this is where the girl's like, just do your science test and leave her alone, please. And he can't get the science experiment to work. Peter's just like the annoying star of this group date, right?
Okay, pause LT's grandfather is Clint Eastwood? What? Let me see.
You need to Google that right now.
I need to see his eyes because I've met Clint Eastwood's son. And he is a doppelganger. He's gorgeous.
Scott Eastwood?
Yes.
Yes, gorgeous.
How would he have a grandson?
Oh, yeah.
38.
38-year-old grandson.
His children. Scott has got to be like 38.
Okay.
I'm not sure about this, Caitlin, but I love it. Also, he's not as gorgeous as the son of Clint Eastwood.
No, certainly not.
So we're gonna dive into that.
Yeah.
He's a yoga guru. Yeah, I don't know why he's here. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. Right. But Peter is annoying, like I said, and then we get into musical chairs. He's annoying again.
Oh,
he's like shoving everybody off of the chairs.
Guess what? You don't have to win musical chairs.
Right.
This is not how you win someone's heart.
No.
Not that important.
Right. And then they're doing the spelling test. And here's where it really starts to unravel because Will thinks it's funny to write down Peter to spell the word narcissist.
You know which who is else a decent thinks joke. It's funny?
Yeah, it's a good joke. It's a good joke.
I thought it was a solid joke. Mm-hmm. It actually was the joke. I mean, they set us up. It was in the edit.
Yeah, right.
But they're like, how do you spell narcissist? And I said out loud, Peter.
Yeah.
And then the fact that Will wrote it down, I was like, points to you, Will. I love you now. You are one of my faves.
Yeah.
But Peter felt differently.
Peter was eated, as Will put it. He was eated. Did you notice how he pronounced it like that? He doesn't pronounce his H's super hard. So he's like, he was eated. And I'm like, yeah.
Where's Will?
But Peter's like scowling and kind of overreacting to me. Like in his confessional, he's just like, he doesn't even know me like that. And I'm like, it was a harmless joke. And you actually kind of were being a narcissist. Like,
yeah, but they don't see that.
Yeah, you're right.
By definition, they don't know.
Yeah.
And, you were the butt of a joke in front of everyone. Obviously, he's going to be a bit upset.
Yeah.
But how do you handle things when you're upset? That's what the Bachelorette should be looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, because then I think after that we move on to the cocktail party portion of this group date. And I think, of course, they like separating on their one-on-ones. Brandon, I think, is the first one who gets like a notable one-on-one time. And he like continues to be corny and Michelle continues to be entertained by it.
She's entertained, but she does call it out, which I appreciate. She's like, where did you get that line?
Uh-huh.
So I appreciate that, but she's still like, is into it.
She's like,
he's cute. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. He's cute, but the over cheese,
it's gonna get old. Like he needs, because she kind of needs to squash this.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, it's cute. You've got my attention.
Be real,
now you can be real. You know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's so that's Brandon. Then she's with Olu when you can hear.
Oh, you can hear.
Will and Peter.
They are pumping the audio of this argument over the conversation with Michelle and Olu. I'm sure that wasn't legit audio that you can hear in the back. Like, this is editing, just to be clear. But, this is the storyline that they need to paint because then eventually she brings Peter over and is like, I could hear you arguing while I was talking to Olu. So they had to like set the stage with that,
The best line in this heated discussion was, what else do you have to offer besides a slice, yo? Yeah. Will, you're good, Will. Burying yourself in my heart right now.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Mm-hmm. But like, don't get too deep in this because like you don't want this to be your storyline. This is so
petty. This is so silly. Like, obviously Peter can be upset, but let him embarrass himself. Will just like, let it go.
Yeah, let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Then we cut away from the date to briefly get our one-on-one date card, and it's Jamie.
I mean, we're not surprised that it's Jamie because he got the first rose in that first rose ceremony. But like we said earlier at the top of this, we didn't get it. We don't see what she sees in him. Yeah. My first note is, how is he 32?
He looks so much older.
I don't believe it.
Yeah. Significantly older than that. And he's kind of doing this thing of like, I mean, my life is crazy, right? Like, I get up and I go and I do this thing. And like, I'm not always in the same place and my job requires blah, blah, blah. Like, can Michelle handle it? Like, he kind of has this, like, a little bit of a cocky air about it.
Yeah. How do we feel about this little confessional?
I don't like it. And the guys are eye rolling.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, okay, like, do you want to be with Michelle or not? Like,
look, I
you're
get
acting
it.
like you're the Bachelor.
A relationship should be balanced. You are wooing Michelle, but you also want to make sure she is right for you. We don't want to discount that.
Right.
But the fact that, yeah, I don't know. So I was like giving him the benefit of the doubt in the moment of like, okay, maybe you're being reasonable. But
it is a realistic thing, right?
Yeah.
Relationships are a two-way street.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just about Michelle, of course. Like, it's got to work for both people, but it's also a little bit like, you know what show you're on, right?
Right.
Like, you went on the Bachelorette.
It's not actually about
it's not about you.
It's about Michelle. So give me a hint of that, but also like give me a lot about Michelle.
Of course.
Right?
Like, you came on a show where there are 23 other men fighting for the same woman.
Yeah.
So you have to act like you're fighting for it, not like you're like, Michelle, are you ready for this?
Right.
It's actually not your show.
It's not. It's actually not his show at all.
Right.
Okay, but then we're going to go back to the date while Rick has come up with Mad Libs for Michelle.
And he gets good music, and I guess we're supposed to care about Rick.
Are we supposed to care about Rick?
We are.
He's getting a lot of camera time.
Lots. And I don't get it.
I don't, especially this Mad Libs. I was like, first off, this isn't school if that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But also he was like giving her the answers, and I was like...
Giving her the answers and then like complimenting her on certain... Like, he's like, oh, that's a good word. And it's just like, this is it.
I'm not getting it. But I guess we will see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then this is where Michelle pulls Peter and she's like, the fighting is lame. Like, you've got to stop. This is not what I'm here for. But it's not like a huge moment. It's just a little bit like slap on the wrist a little bit. Like, can you stop, please?
I mean, basically she's like, if I upset you, if we get in a fight, like, how are you going to handle that? Which is a valid point that all women should say.
Yeah.
All partners should say.
Yes.
Like, let's communicate through fights and don't yell at me, basically.
Yeah. Right.
I really liked Casey. He seemed super mature during this whole, like, you know, we're starting to see, you don't know who he is other than the fact that he was saying very mature things. He has a good beard. He looks a little older, even though I think he's only like 36, which I guess is old on this show.
I am really struggling.
He's got like a touch of gray. I've got their pictures.
Pull him over.
Right
Pull him over.
I don't think that Casey is going to have a connection with her, but I enjoy him because everything he says.
One more.
Is
Casey
very grounded and mature, and so I appreciate that.
But it definitely is like,
he's only 36. But
I know,
yes,
but
he's
comparatively,
the
like, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 36. You know, like, okay, we're in the same boat. But it's like, you feel like you're a fish out of water here. You know, so. Sorry, Casey. I don't know.
He's around right now. Okay.
Yeah.
She is going to give out the date rose to
Brandon,
Mr. Cheese
Cornball.
himself. Yeah. She's okay with not being able to spell and having really cheesy pickup lines.
And guess what? He is falling for her after one group date.
Well, he should.
He misspelled the word protein, and he's like, I am in love. Wow.
She will teach me how to spell.
Yes.
Oh, the possibilities.
Amazing. All right. That's where we are with the group date. Then we go the one-on-one date. And Jamie, again, is a little cocky going into this one-on-one date, talking about like, I mean, I'm not going to stay if I don't like her. You know, like, I got to like Michelle.
I was like, is this like foreshadowing in the edit that he's going to leave?
Sure.
Like, he's not going to enjoy this one-on-one and leave?
And I'm just kind of like, see yourself out.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm fine with that.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
please.
Right.
But no, they're going to go rock climbing, which seemed fairly difficult and intense.
Legit rock climbing.
Yeah.
Like, we don't normally see this level of physical activity on American Bachelor. If you watch Australian Bachelor, like me, they love sport and they love doing extreme. They like throw people out of planes on the regular on Bachelor Australia.
Oh, that's not how you win your way to my heart.
No, but this is like intense. He's like having to coach her through it. She's like I would be very nervous too.
Yeah.
But she's, you know, doing real rock climbing here in Joshua Tree.
He is giving out his very confident, maybe cocky vibe here, but she, at least for the editing, is saying, I appreciated the coaching. Oh, it is. I could grab this. Oh,
right.
He was there for me. So it does feel like a bit of a connection. They have some great moments here on the rock.
Yeah, I was like, what were these moments on the rock? Like, I understood that it was like sweeping views and good music and all this stuff, but I left that being like, I'm not sure what they said about anything, you know, like I can tell that I'm supposed to believe there's a connection here, but I'm still not really grasping what that connection is between the two of them.
Well, and also they just met. So like what can it be?
I guess you're right. Okay.
But if you stand there with sweeping views, you usually,
you fall in love.
You fall in love.
Yeah.
Whether it's real love or not. You're like, look at this beautiful thing. You're the one, you know?
Yeah, right.
Which is the vibe we're getting here. But now we're gonna step it up a notch.
Going to dinner.
We're gonna go to dinner, and this is the classic time.
Trauma bond.
Where you got to reveal. I mean, every Bachelorette is different.
Yeah.
Some really need trauma.
Yeah, I will say, like, I say trauma bonding, but this is actually kind of different because Michelle does not have the same trauma as
I don't think she needs the trauma.
Right.
Like some people want to be like, what is the worst thing in your life? Please tell me. But I'm sure she still wants you to like tell something. You gotta reveal something here.
Open up, right. And she's like coming from a stable family, right? Like that's kind of like her story. We've talked about how she has great parents and they're in love, and that's frankly kind of an anomaly. You know, a lot of people don't have that.
And she mentions that here, and I appreciated that.
And she's like, I have that, and I want that. But I also understand that you don't have to come from that in order to achieve that. So people who come from families that have split up, I think that they can still make fine partners. Like, I'm not saying like I need someone who comes from the same stability that I did.
Yes. And Jamie is going to say, challenge accepted. Here is a really dark and very sad story about his mom's journey with mental health and how it affected him as a child, constantly being concerned about him.
And like missing school.
Which is going to be a big thing to Michelle. She's going to be like, oh my God, a child who didn't like get to just go to school and let their life go. It's an intense story. And like I said, I went on this journey where I did not like Jamie, but then now I feel for him.
Of course. You cannot.
How can you not?
How can you not? Yeah,
right.
Like his mother committed suicide tragically when he was 24. Like, it's a really sad story.
Yeah.
And Michelle is like, I think, responding in an appropriate way. Yeah. And he acknowledges that, where he's like, she's actually giving me feedback that indicates like Michelle would be a really solid partner. You know, she's not like necessarily overdoing it or making it about her,
right?
But like showing the proper amount of emotion. She's reacting in a way that you would expect Michelle to react, because we all know that Michelle is a very emotionally intelligent individual from like watching her on Matt's season of The Bachelor. We know this about her, you know, she's like following through.
Even though she is teary and emotional, she's not like, I'm so sorry, which apparently he appreciated, because that's probably just what he hears. But she was adding actual value to it.
Yep.
She's obviously going to give him a rose at this point. Like, how could you not give him a rose at this point?
Yeah.
But I do feel like they did connect, and she's really digging him at this point.
Yeah. And then, oh my God, Sarah, they go and they get a performance from the world famous Caroline Jones. Could you believe that they booked Caroline Jones?
No, honestly, I can't believe it. But also, my note here is not a band performance. Ugh. I can't. Why?
It's always the same. And you've never heard of these
people. And I mean, good for them. I mean, this is maybe hopefully
I'm sure
a break
she's
for
like,
her.
Thank God, like national
she's
exposure.
On TV. Yes. Yeah. I'm all for finding small bands that need to be highlighted. But on the first one-on-one, are we going to have this every one-on-one date?
I know. I really honestly would rather them watch them go look at fireworks.
Yeah. Yeah, please. It's so awkward, and they have to dance, and then they have to make out. And you know, I can't watch making out.
Ugh. It's not for Sarah. It's not for Sarah.
I can't do it. So there was probably a lot happening here. I didn't watch any of this.
So just to recap.
Does he kiss better than Matt?
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't?
Okay.
Oh, my God. But like, I feel for him with this story of the mom, of course. Not discounting any of that, but like, I still am just kind of like, really, Jamie? Like, I don't know. So, and like, was definitely getting a weird feeling about him based on his like initial reactions to this one-on-one date opportunity. I'm like, why does she like you? But here we are. Jamie has a rose. So I'm like, okay, first one-on-one and he gets a rose.
Sure. I mean, she does like him just because we don't get it.
Yeah.
She does. But hold on. More to come.
Hold on.
More to come about Jamie, because we're going to get cut over to Joe.
More tragedy.
Sweet, sweet Joe.
Sweet, sweet Joe, whose basketball coach just passed away.
Have you guys looked into Joe's eyes?
Because if you haven't, you need to.
I melt every time Joe shows up.
They're kind of like your eyes, honestly.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, similar color.
Do you melt into my eyes?
Every time, Sarah. Every time.
You guys, I just found out only 2% of the population have green eyes.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Hey.
You're a statistical anomaly. Yeah.
Well, real special.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back to the show.
Yes. So I'm not sure the order of events here. Like, I don't know.
No. Why question the order of events, David?
Sure, right. But it's like, oh, his coach passed away, and then there just happened to go on a basketball group date that very day.
Okay, well, we knew it was going to be a basketball group date with Joe and Michelle. That was happening.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? I'm here for it. This entire group date, I was in love with.
The whole thing, or Joe specifically, his role in this group?
Well, he was a highlight.
Okay.
He was the VIP, whatever he won, MVP of this group date. But no, I loved the whole thing because you could really tell that Michelle loves basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Which we've heard.
It's like, it's not a silly dodgeball, shirtless, blah, 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 stupid competition. They're actually playing basketball. They're actually sweating.
Yes.
They're actually trying. They are actually scoring baskets.
They're like dunking and passing and stuff.
The WNBA is there.
Yes, we had 2 athletes from the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed this whole thing. I didn't feel like this was a stupid, frivolous date, which I usually do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but, Michelle's highlighting in confessional that these guys don't know, but Joe is actually Mr. Minnesota 2011 or whatever. He's like the best high school basketball player in the state.
Giving us that, and I was like, man.
And she was like, and I was the runner-up. And then she proceeds to play one-on-one with just Joe. Yeah. Nobody else gets a one-on-one.
Nope.
With Michelle.
Nope.
So.
Lots of chemistry just oozing out of this date. Now, I also have a special place in my heart for Nate.
Oh, sure.
Nate and Joe are the loves of my life right now.
Okay.
And the 2 of them on the basketball court, I really just was enjoying all of it. But boy, Michelle could not help but be like, good pass, Joe.
Yeah.
How about
it's a lot of shoulder touching.
How are you on defense?
Yes. It's very that.
Boy.
Oh yeah. She's feeling it. She's feeling it. And then after their like a little one-on-one session.
Yeah.
We do the competition, right? Split into 2 teams. We, of course, have like...
I think they call it a game.
A game.
An actual basketball game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted. We've got local news sportscaster legend Blake Arthur here to call this game.
He was funny, though.
He was, but he's like... It looked like it was shot after the fact. He's in like a separate room with a blue curtain. He is not interacting with anybody face to face,
It did. At the end, did you see the little tag at the end? Because it's him introducing each player. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait, was he there?
That was the part that I thought like, oh, maybe this is real. Like maybe he was there because they're like reacting to his
what
like
he's saying.
reads of the players,
But in this moment when we're watching the game, I was like, he's not there. This is added in.
Right. But it's blue, red. Joe's on red, and blue is the team that's like on fire at first. I mean, granted, they're telling a story here, and like it's edited how it's edited, okay?
It is.
But Blue is taking a huge lead and scoring all these 3-pointers, and Joe is the one who's supposed to be the superstar, and he's on red, and they have like 8 points to Blue's 25 points, you know?
Exactly, but I feel like Joe was the only one who could play basketball on the red team, maybe.
Because
then
Pardeep was on that team, and you saw that shot that Pardeep took. That like
it was very similar to the way I play basketball.
Over the basket. Just, yeah.
That's how I play basketball. So I feel you. I feel you on that.
Yeah.
But they do give us like a fun comeback edit where it's like the Joe Malik show. And I was like, yes, boys. Yes, get it.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be enough.
Despite their best efforts at a comeback, it is Blue who wins. But the producers, they are going to make sure.
They don't stop working.
That Joe makes it to that after party, okay?
They know who we're watching.
And we are going to give out an MVP award. And even though Joe is on the losing team, he gets the MVP.
This is not the first time that we have seen this kind of thing. No. We tend to like to pull a favorite or a villain or whatever, personality, over to continue the group date, even if they lose. So I am not surprised at all. And I'm actually very thankful because I want more Joe.
She's like, I just want to stare into those eyes.
Yes, I do.
As much as possible. So I think the rest of the red team is like, are you for real? Like, okay. So there's just the 4 of us now who are going to go home. And Joe and the 5 winners are going to go to this
Get over it.
After party.
I do not care.
But at the after party, Joe's first. Joe gets the first one-on-one time.
And guess what? He's got a sad story to tell.
He does. He opens up about, his dead basketball coach. And they are feeling the chemistry here, so much so that they just got to play basketball again. Got to do it.
I was like, wait, what? Where is this? And why is this happening?
Yeah.
Why are they playing basketball again? But she is, in all caps, is my note, about him. Mm-hmm. She is like, oh, your coach?
Oh,
I love coaches.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell me more.
More. I want to touch you as much as possible while you're telling me more.
Hello.
Yeah.
Chemistry.
So then we cut back to the guys and they're talking about Joe. And they're like,
how long has it been?
Wow. Joe is really taking a lot of time.
Where did they go?
We are worried about Joe. Like, what is going on with Joe? Sort of, I think, setting the stage a little bit.
Yeah, except for my boy Nate. Nate's like, you know what? I got confidence for days. It ain't about anything with Joe. It's about my relationship with her, my time with her. I ain't worried.
So he walks in there, and they also have great chemistry.
They do. Because
she is also very into Nate.
Heavily making out with him at this point.
I mean, listen, Nate and Joe look alike. Okay, let's just state the obvious.
They're both very
They
beautiful.
are both very attractive,
yes.
And they're both a certain type. So if Michelle's into Joe, she's also into Nate. Nate walks in there, equally great chemistry, I would say. But I'm a little bit like, is it just physical with Nate right now? That's okay if it is, right? Like, they could get around to actually liking each other's personalities later. But right now, it's very just like Nate shows up and it's like lip to lip, right? They are making out immediately. It is like a physical connection with the two of them.
I mean, I was drawn to Nate from his original package, so there might be something there.
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't know what Michelle knows about Nate, except that she thinks he's hot right
What's
now.
to know?
Yeah. So Joe gets the group date rose, despite, Nate's efforts to make out with her and get that group date rose.
So even though Nate is feeling his confidence, he has to know that he is at least second to Joe at this point. Joe just got that rose.
Yeah. Yeah. This was supposed to be Joe's date all along, and the producers made that happen.
Yeah.
They said, oh, you're on the losing team. Don't worry about it. We're going to do this MVP thing, and then it's all good. You're going to get that rose. So Joe and Jamie now are our 2 guys, and who had the first group date rose?
Brandon. Cheese.
Brandon, Jamie, Joe. 3 guys with the rose going into this big cocktail party, pre-rose ceremony.
Cocktail party. Okay. Another one of my faves, Rodney, Mr. Granny Smith Apple. He's going to get an apple tasting test here.
Do you think he had any idea that this was going to be such a significant part of his storyline by wearing an apple t-shirt?
By wearing the Party City version of an apple? No, he did not. But you know what? It doesn't matter because he has a great sense of humor.
He does.
He is a great personality and entertaining. And this just shows you can wear a Party City Apple shirt.
Yeah, and make an impression.
And still be entertaining. Yeah. I enjoy him so much. And this taste test was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I don't even think he knows he's being hilarious. But it's so entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, he is trying a Fuji apple. And he's like, that is a sour Granny Smith for sure. And Michelle's like, do you have taste buds? Like, first, or do you have senses generally? Because you don't know colors, obviously, because you thought a red apple was a Granny Smith. Now you can't taste the sourness of a Granny Smith apple. Like,
and then he eats a Granny Smith apple.
He's
and
that is a Fuji apple.
Big Fuji. I mean, he doesn't even know names of apples. He just was like, this is one I've heard.
Yeah, right.
And then he eats a slice of pizza. Yeah. And he was like, what is this? Cheese?
Yeah.
I was like, this is so great.
Yeah.
Why do I adore him? But
then
they
kiss, you know. I think she's charmed by Rodney. Yeah. He's someone to pay attention to, I believe. Yeah. I think he'll probably get a one-on-one at some point, if I had to guess.
Yes, the preview looked like he does.
Yeah. Then, here's where we get into the good stuff. Jamie's talking about Joe. And Malik is like, who cares about Joe?
Who cares? How refreshing is it that there was Spencer and Malik both going, I don't care.
Why are you talking about this guy?
It's literally about my connection with her. She's going to choose who she chooses.
Mm-hmm.
What do we give? Whatever.
So then
Jamie's like, no, I care.
I care because I have a friend in Minneapolis who saw Michelle at a bar and said that she's booed up with a light-skinned baller. I was like, what is this story?
Not someone bringing in information from a friend
in Minneapolis?
The show.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm done with people bringing in information like
this. I don't believe this at all. I do not believe this is a real story. Absolutely not. Like, no. And then, like, he's literally the only person who cares, right?
Right.
He's telling the story to whoever will listen.
Yeah.
But everyone's just kind of like, okay, well, it is what it is. So then he's the one who clearly cares.
Yes. And he says it. He's like, I care. I got to say something.
Then he goes to Michelle and he's like, listen, I don't really care, but people are talking.
Oh, now it's not you caring, Jamie.
What?
Turn of events here, sir. No, the way that he said it to her, how he flipped it around was so manipulative. And of course, just like this is what we see is like if you say the house, if you say everyone's talking, the Bachelor or the Bachelorette cannot help but become so insecure that people now don't like you, don't trust you, questioning things. Like that has to feel so just kind of terrifying.
It sucks to hear people are talking and people don't trust you, right? Yeah. Like she has no context for this. What I was a little, I was just taking note of the fact that her reaction is she doesn't really say much. Mm-mm. She doesn't really deny it. Mm-mm. Right? Mm-hmm. She takes like a long beat and she's like, sorry, I'm just like trying to think of how to address this. And I'm like, is it true? Like you're not saying it's not true. You're just saying like, it's like you're taking a little too long to think about it. Where my mind goes to like, oh, you're trying to cook up a cover up, kind of like, is it true or not? Is it denial or not? But then when she eventually talks to Tayshia, she's like, it's absolutely not true. And like, but I'm just like spiraling because people think that I'm like not here genuinely. You know?
Yeah, I think that was part of the edit because we as an audience don't know what's true or not, right? Because we were given the information that he ghosted her, that they did talk. But we don't know, did they actually date? How long did this last? We don't have that information at this time. So I think that she denied it and they cut that out.
Yeah.
Because the next thing we see from him is like, she gave me the answer. Like, I feel great about it.
He literally is like, I think she took that well. I'm like, she's literally crying right now. Like, no, she did not take that well.
Wait, why is it how she takes it? Like, this was your issue.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not how she takes it. You're the one with the issue. Like, all across the board, I don't know if this is narcissism or if it's manipulation or just like it just ain't right. Just ain't.
It's not cool.
It ain't considering her feelings.
Yeah.
It's all shades.
It's also like so manipulative to frame it on the other guys. Like, other people are talking. That's shady. I'm not talking. Other people are talking.
That's straight shady.
And people are gonna find you out because everybody knows that you were talking about it. So,
right.
I don't know what the long game is here.
Fast forward to him being real silent coming up here.
Oh, it was so delicious. So Michelle, processes a little bit with Tayshia, takes a moment, comes in, addresses the guys. And she's like, here's the deal. Joe ghosted me. LOL, right? Like, we can laugh about it.
It was
years ago, and I've never actually met him. So when y'all walked in the limo, that was my first time meeting everybody. Let's just be clear about that. And opening the floor to questions. Who has any questions? And it's silent because the only one who has any questions is Jamie.
Exactly. But before she opens it to questions and she says the information, because this is two separate things to her, because Joe, 2 messages years ago, can't be the same thing for being seen with a tall, light-skinned, whatever this was.
Right.
She's taking that as separate information, even though we think Jamie straight made this up, which is why it's like separate information. But she's not thinking that's Joe because this was years ago. They were never seen together, whatever. Right. I love the way that she expressed that as a woman of color in Minnesota, which is a state predominantly who is white, is seen with a man of color, she is automatically coupled up with them. And that sounds like something that she has dealt with. Yeah. And she laid that out there, and you should feel like crap, Jamie.
Oh, yeah. And she also says, like, if I'm out with a white dude, I'm never coupled up with him. It's assumed we are not. We are just friends. And she's like, I want to be very clear. All of you are potential options for me. I'm not just looking for a black guy. Like, that's not who I am. She sets the record straight on that, which I appreciate.
I loved that because that's just an experience that I don't know. I'm not familiar with this.
Yeah.
And to hear her phrase it, I was like, oh, y'all need to shut your mouths because Jamie just put like some total insecurity in her to make him feel better or to have the power in this relationship. And that's just gross.
Exactly. So she opens the floor to questions and there are no questions. And she's like, wow, it really feels like there should be questions here because apparently people are talking about this. So nobody has anything to say. And they're all kind of sitting there because they legitimately don't have anything to say, right? And she's like, I need a minute. And she walks away.
Yeah, this is when it gets really unfortunate because I wish... Now, granted, these guys are like, we don't know what's happening.
What are you talking about?
So they don't know what to say. But I wish someone had the forethought to say, I unfortunately don't know what you're talking about.
Right. This is not an issue for me.
But thank you for just clearing the air or something like that, just to help give her that information.
I'm not questioning your intentions.
No.
Nobody said that. So she's probably spiraling even more in her head. Like, oh, they won't even confront me. They won't even let me address this to their face. Like, they just want to talk behind my back now. So she excuses herself. And immediately the guys are like, who would do, literally everybody's like, who would do that? Who would do that? And Jamie's, I mean, it's what? I would never, who did? He is looking around wide-eyed.
The dudes are like, I have never even heard this.
Yeah.
Why would this have been brought to her attention?
Yeah.
And then Jamie's like,
yeah, no. And then there's a lot of behind-the-scenes style footage. Like, you see the crew in the background, cameras, casual sandals. You know that these are not guys in their suits for the rose ceremony. It's like production crew, behind the scenes shots. They still have the cameras on Jamie and they are filming Jamie.
Jamie
was
these talking to moments. A blonde woman at one point.
Yeah.
Where he was expressing his case. I was like, well, she's not on the show.
No, she's not. No.
Yeah, this was really, I don't know, just a bad look overall Jamie's, in his confessional to us, he's like, I'm not going to say it because like, I don't care.
Right.
But no, you look shady, buddy.
And I'm also like kind of surprised that we didn't see like a Malik be like, so you were talking about Joe and being weird and telling the story.
They have to be saving that because Malik knows for sure. And then I think Spencer, and there might have been another person.
I think there was a third person.
That could at least be like, well, I definitely heard Jamie bring it up.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So there are people who do have some info that should come out, I imagine, next episode.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Then Caitlin and Tayshia walk down the staircase, right? And I was like crossing my fingers that they were going to walk up and be like, Jamie, we know it was you. Like, I thought that's what they were there for because they know, like, they have it on camera, right? So I thought they were going to totally bust him in this moment. But they're just like, the cocktail party is canceled. We're just going straight to the rose ceremony.
Which is a real bummer. I'm really mad at this point that Jamie has ruined it for everybody. I have now been caught up in these poor guys who are like, I didn't get to talk to her.
Well,
but it's mostly for her. I just mostly wanted her to not be upset. And I wanted her to know that it wasn't the whole house freaking out about this.
Also, it's kind of like, I want you to do a little bit more fishing so that you can go into this rose ceremony knowing that a guy who has a rose already is the one who started all this drama. Like, that's important for you to know that this is Jamie, She'll figure it out eventually. It's going to come out, no question.
Right.
But I was a little bit like, I wish, because it ends up being not like chaotic in the way it plays out, but it's chaotic in a lot of guys' minds, this rose ceremony, which is like silly and needless because like none of these guys did this. But so many guys who are like fine, I think, are so paranoid. Like we get so much from Rick and Romeo who are like, oh, like, is Michelle going to send me home now? And I'm like, you don't need to be worried. Like, you're not going anywhere.
I feel like Rick is going to always be worried.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He just seems like oh God.
He's a warrior. Yeah.
Is she gonna love me? Yeah, like production can't tell this stuff. I mean, they could, but they choose not to.
Won't. Yeah.
And I think Tayshia and Caitlin are an extension of production.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think they told her about the folder because that was good television on production standpoint.
Oh yeah.
But production's not going to tell Tayshia to tell Michelle that Jamie's the only one and it's not the whole house.
Right.
The only thing Tayshia or Caitlin could do is be like, look, what you do is talk to some of the other people you feel a connection to, that you feel like you can trust, and just get some information from them. Like, I think that's the best that they can do.
I think that's absolutely right.
Information-wise. Mm-hmm. But, people are going to talk.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to come out.
It's going to come out. They are not... Like, these guys are dogs with a bone now. They are going to find out who did this, and they're not going to let go until they figure it out. So, Jamie's done. But not yet.
Not yet, because we know he's safe. He's already got a rose here.
Exactly. So, she walks up, and she's like, to be clear, only accept this rose if you trust me. Okay?
Yeah.
If you accept this, you are telling me that you trust me here.
Yes. She is...
Yeah.
This is not a lovey-dovey ceremony here. No. She is kind of just trying to weed through people she's okay to let go and hope that the people staying trust her. Oh, yeah. Again, I just feel so bad about her. But my boy Nate's gonna get the first rose.
Number one.
And my other boy Rodney's gonna get the next rose.
Yeah. And then we get, like I said, it's Rick being super nervous. It's Romeo being super nervous. And they do both get called like Rick is like fourth, I guess. Yeah. But like Romeo gets called pretty late, which I was kind of surprised he was so late. But like they're fine. It's not like a shocking. Although I will say
the last one is shocking.
I was a bit shocked. Well, yes. Oh my God. That Peter gets the last rose.
Why is Peter getting a rose?
That was so strange. I guess it was just like they needed to, there's like bigger drama going to happen with Peter. And yes, there was drama with Peter this episode that I think probably warranted him not getting a rose, but the bigger story was Jamie here. So I think that like elimination of Peter got a little bit derailed and they're like, we need like more of a story. Like, we didn't fully flesh out this Peter situation to like send him home right now. There's potential for more drama. But I was like, you don't like Peter.
No.
I think Peter's entertaining and like fun to
There's
watch.
There's always a moment when we're like, producers asked her to keep this person.
For sure.
And this is one of those. I feel like they did. They were like, just keep Peter. He's going to give us a little bit more drama. You don't have to marry him.
And I was a bit surprised that she got rid of both of the firefighters.
She got rid of the little fire truck Daniel and the big fire truck PJ.
I know. And she also got rid of Alec.
We don't know who Alec really was.
I'm sure we'll see you on Bachelor in Paradise and be like, probably. Who are you?
We won't know.
And then
Pardeep looked like he was going to throw up and pass out in that when they're standing up there and waiting. He's like,
he's kind of swaying a little bit, like he's like looking around, like, is this almost over?
But he did not. He did not get a rose. No. But yeah, at this point, it's like whatever. Okay, she's really into Joe and Nate, and apparently Rodney and Jamie
and Rick
and Brandon. Like those are the front runners.
Those are for sure the front runners.
So the rest of them are just going to sort of float through for a minute.
Yeah. That's it.
I was really annoyed that Peter got a rose.
But I felt real good that Jamie turned out to be a snake because we sensed it.
I'm mad that he's that much of a snake.
Well, sure, of course. You don't really want anyone to be a snake. But I just was like, it's like, I hate to be like, I don't like this person based off of like a limo entrance, you know, like, but I didn't. I was just like, I don't get it. I don't really care about this person. And so then for him to be like, not a good dude, I'm like, yes. Okay.
Yeah. And so the preview stuff where they like, coming up and it's always overly dramatic.
Of course.
But now I realize they're talking about Jamie because at first I thought they were talking about Joe, or they were leading us to believe it was all about Joe. Oh my God, did they have a previous relationship? Like those were the sound bites they were giving us. But then these sound bites were clearly about Jamie. So he's exposed. He'll be exposed.
Yeah.
He won't last forever. And so that at least we have that to look forward to.
Yeah, that will be satisfying, his downfall. So
you don't remember what Rodney looks like? He's an apple.
Yeah, he wore the apple shirt.
And he's got kind of a rounder face.
Like a thicker neck. He's like an athlete.
Build. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I want to talk about? Because we don't cover this show, or we haven't yet.
No.
But David and I both watch Bachelor in Paradise. And we talk about it amongst ourselves. And there were people in the chat last episode who brought it up.
They were like, David convinced Sarah to watch Bachelor in Paradise, which she does already.
I already do.
Yeah.
It's a crazy show, but I enjoy it more than these Bachelorette ones. So I wanted to talk about it because the 3 couples who proposed, which was a lot, are still together.
I know.
And another couple got back together that went their separate ways. So I wanted to talk about it. How do you feel? First off, Grocery Store Joe.
I know. He's the sweetest. I love Grocery Store Joe and Serena.
Thank you, Serena.
Serena, I was surprised that she followed through because she was the one on that season who like made it to the final 4.
Walls up.
And then all of a sudden she was like, no, I'm not in love with you. Goodbye.
Yes. I thought she had so many walls up that she wasn't really looking for someone. Yeah. I thought in the very first episode, she was picking Grocery Store Joe because she was like, this won't work out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought she was definitely going to call it off at some point, but here they are still together. They're cute together.
I think they're so cute. By the time it got to the end, I was like, yes, propose.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved it.
Now, what about Kenny and Mari?
You guys, what is this? What is that?
I know. Listen, I know age is just a number, but he is 40 and she's 24.
She's a child. What? I know some of y'all are young, but that's so young.
What do you have to talk about?
No, but also I love that she was like, maybe we should test the waters and see other people. And he was like, cool. I'll go sleep with Demi.
And she was like, no, I meant I get to see.
Wait a minute. That's not what I meant.
Yeah.
You know what? You're the one for me. So I feel like they got back together under circumstances that aren't super healthy.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
If jealousy is bringing you back. I think it was cute that he proposed. I mean, he said all the right things. He was like, "You're young. Are you sure?"
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Totally. So
I don't think she's sure. Also, like so many of their dates were like jokes. Like they ate tacos off of each other, you know, like there was just so much of him being naked the whole time.
Have you seen his body?
I mean, listen,
take it.
Not hard to look at, of course, but I'm just like, really? You're getting engaged after you like licked sour cream off of each other's nipples? Like what?
Yeah, really? I mean, they're great. It would be great if it worked out. Do I think it will? No. They probably won't actually make it to the altar. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Joe is younger than I think he is.
He's 35.
Oh, I thought he was like 32.
No, he's 35.
But she is
26.
Serena is she's a baby. She's like 22. She's very young.
Also a huge age gap.
So there is a slight age gap there as well. I think she's super, super young.
Yeah.
Who's the third? I think Amari carries herself a little bit mature.
She does. You're right. I agree with that, Caitlin.
Maybe it'll work out. We'll see. Who was the third couple? The guy I loved from Claire's season.
Not Rodney. What's his name?
I should have.
Riley.
Riley, thank you.
And Marissa.
They
seem like they're in love.
Okay, well, first off, Marissa has some self-esteem issues that
100%
that she addresses and maybe, talks to a professional, because you don't need someone else to tell you your worth.
Oh my God. And she like broke when he went on other dates with other people. Like she had panic attacks.
And she was like, why won't he tell me how much he loves me? Like every day.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a lot. So I'm not sure, but I adore Riley and he seemed really smitten. So I hope
Here's the one
they're
thing
happy.
I didn't like. I like Riley too, but I don't like that game he was playing where he like would pretend like he was going to break up with her and then be like, just kidding, I actually love you. And she'd like, I mean, she freaked out too much.
She's so insecure.
But it's also not nice to like set someone up as if you're about to break their heart and then be like, just kidding. Like, don't do that, because one day you're actually probably going to break up with me. And then I'm going to think it's a joke, but like, it's not going to be a joke. Like I don't like those games.
I thought it was hilarious, but only because she's so insecure. That she like genuinely is like, oh my God, he's breaking up with me. I'm about to her. This is it. And he's like, stop it.
I'm with ya.
She needs to lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like,
but just be honest with how you feel about people.
Yeah.
Don't play with people's emotions like that. It's not healthy.
And then the other couple was the former Bachelorette.
Becca and Thomas. But they didn't get engaged.
No, they actually broke up.
But they're still together.
But they got back together after the show was over, which I thought was funny because she was like, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know either. Like Thomas, for real? But I guess they're back together.
But I love the way he handled it, because he was like, great. Well, then the best way I can show you is by like getting the heck out of here. He leaves and she's like, well, now wait a minute.
Yeah. She's like, wait, Thomas.
Did he just leave? Like, she even tried to grab him back and like talk more. And I was like, no, leave her.
Yeah.
She dumped you. What else do you owe her?
Oh, yeah.
But she was like, no.
Wait. That's not the reaction.
So I wasn't surprised that she probably picked up that phone as soon as they landed and was like, hey, wait.
But also I think like that's the most realistic outcome for Bachelor in Paradise, to be like, let's just continue dating. Like, I don't need to put a ring on it right now. Like, let's see if we could be a thing in the real world. And that's what they're attempting to do.
Good question, Christina. Are Brennan and Piper together? I don't care. Who cares?
I don't care. Piper was recently, I did see
not looking it up.
Because occasionally Bachelorette stuff will pop up in my Instagram Explorer page. Piper was recently on Becca's podcast. And I could really only watch like 5 seconds of Becca asking a question before I was like, I actually don't care how Piper's going to answer that. The one thing I also wanted to bring up, which I don't believe you watched Katie's season of The Bachelorette, but Katie and Blake broke up.
They broke up. I did see that announcement.
Yeah.
I did not watch Katie's season, but I really enjoyed Katie when she was on Matt's season.
Yeah.
And I watched Claire's season with Blake. So I feel like I know them as much as I can know them.
Yeah.
And they should not have gotten together.
No.
So I am not surprised that they are not together anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how her season went so horribly wrong.
Yeah.
But it clearly did.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Abigail and Noah are back together.
Christy, Abigail, and Noah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
After that whole drama of Abigail maybe sleeping with Dale, and that's why Dale broke up with Claire. But now I think Dale and Claire are back together.
Seems like Dale and Claire are back together.
I cannot keep up with Dale and Claire. But Abigail and Noah, I have heard that they're back together.
Why? I don't know. I don't dig Noah. Like, I think he's a fun character for the show. Like, when he came on Claire's season, I was like, okay. This is silly. This is a joke.
Yeah.
Or was he there for Tayshia? Is that when he came in? Anyway, that's
whatever.
But I was like, he's not a serious contender. He's a character.
No. Yeah, right.
And I just adore Abigail, and I do not want him to like break her heart. But he already did break her heart.
He did, and now he's going to do it again, probably.
Oh, I don't know about them apples.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm pretty excited about Joe and Serena.
I know. It's a cute couple.
Shockingly.
They just have like a good vibe.
Yeah. They both seem fairly.
And they're honest with each other.
Yeah.
Like Riley.
Don't they seem more real than most people on these shows?
I think Joe is like, I'm sure he is like playing a version of himself just like everybody else is on reality TV, but he does such a good job of making it seem like, I'm just grocery store Joe. I'm a real guy. He like really comes off so genuine. I love the guy.
He does. And he was like the spokesperson for the season. Like anytime there was drama, Joe
Remember when he was like seeing people off the island with his like Charlie's Angels walking up like, you're no good, Brendan.
His harem of females.
You get out of here. Yeah. He was like the police on the beach.
Whatever drama, it was like Joe was the one to tell us what was happening and how it was going to go down.
Yeah.
Because he's just, I don't know, adorable. Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to just catch up because this is how David and I's relationship started.
Yeah.
Talking about TV, then we turn a camera on, but even if the camera's not on, we're still doing it. Talking about it. So that's our update on that.
Yes.
What?
I'm glad you brought that up because I did want to mention that Katie and Blake broke up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, was anyone rooting for? I'm rooting for Katie and Dale individually. Not Dale.
I gotta tell you, if you had actually watched Katie's season, I don't know if you'd be rooting for Katie.
That's such a bummer.
She wasn't the best bunch yet, but my opinion.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't exciting enough for me to watch it.
Yeah.
So that tells you something right there.
Yeah.
Well, that is our Bachelorette recap. We've got some faves. I've got some faves.
Sure.
Are you more on board now?
Maybe of them? 2 people I care about. Yeah.
And we've got someone we can't wait for her to get rid of. Let me walk you
That's
to
really
that
what I'm
car.
watching for at this point.
Yeah. Excited about that. So we will be back next Thursday with the next episode recap. And then obviously on Wednesdays, we've got Survivor as usual.
That's right.
So make sure you got all those notifications set up.
Hit the bell.
You guys in the chat, love you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes. If you're joining us later, leave us a comment. You guys have been so great with the comments lately.
Yes.
It's fun to read, fun to respond. So let us know what you think about all this Jamie drama, about PJ and Daniel going home in the same rose ceremony. And who are your faves? Who are you actually rooting for? What's up with
this guy who's Clint Eastwood's grandson? Now I got to look into that.
I know.
All right. Okay. Yes, thank you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.